Welcome back. Okay, have you ever felt like you're doing absolutely everything right, but you just kind of can't catch a break? Well, today we're exploring some genuinely fascinating research from Dr. Tina Seelig, a neuroscientist out of Stanford University. We're going to break down the actual, literal science behind generating your own luck. And by the end of this explainer, you might just find that you possess tangible, everyday levers to totally shift your trajectory.
So let's jump right into Section 1, the physics of luck.
I want you to think about that deep, sinking feeling of being stuck in place while everyone around you just seems to effortlessly succeed. You sit there and ask yourself, how did they get so lucky? We all have those moments of envy, right? Where success just seems completely random. We look at a colleague landing a massive promotion or a friend stumbling into the perfect opportunity, and we mistakenly believe they were just struck by some magical bolt of lightning.
But Dr. Seelig's research presents a massive paradigm shift here. She says that luck actually isn't a bolt of lightning that hits the chosen few, but a physics of cause and effect that you can actually control. I mean, let that sink in for a second. We're taking luck entirely out of the realm of mysticism and random accidents and placing it firmly into a tangible framework. Just like any physics, there are rules and levers that produce highly predictable reactions.
Which brings us to Section 2, fortune versus luck. To truly grasp this whole physics idea, we absolutely have to separate what's in our control from what, well, isn't. Think of fortune kind of like a tornado. It encompasses the things that just happen to you. You didn't choose where you were born, and you definitely didn't choose to live through a global pandemic. That is fortune. It's completely passive. But luck is what you actively steer and manufacture. By focusing on luck, you stop being a passive victim of fortune and become the actual architect of your future.
All right, moving on to Section 3, building your sailboat.
Dr. Seelig uses this absolutely stunning analogy. She says opportunities are like the wind. They're blowing around us constantly, literally every single day. But wind alone doesn't move you unless you have a vehicle built specifically to catch it. You have to become the sailboat. And catching those winds requires 3 distinct internal steps: building the boat itself, recruiting a crew, and finally, hoisting the sail. So let's dive into exactly what each of these requires.
Step 1 is building the boat. This is the deep internal work. What does that actually mean? It means getting incredibly clear on your core values. Because look, if your hull isn't solid, you're going to sink the minute you hit rough waters. Knowing your values ensures you aren't easily manipulated into making unethical decisions. A strong, ethically sound foundation is the very first requirement of a lucky person.
Next up is Step 2, recruiting the crew. The truth is, luck seldom sails solo. To recruit your crew, you need to engage in continuous acts of generosity. This means going out of your way to help folks, offering your time, and genuinely showing appreciation. By being a generous person, you naturally construct this loyal, interconnected network that you absolutely need to succeed. Your crew is the community that's going to spot the winds of opportunity before you even see them. And finally, Step 3, hoisting the sail. You've got a solid boat, a great crew, but you literally won't move an inch without your sail. And what is that sail? It's intense curiosity. It's asking questions when others are silent. It's the literal act of getting out of the house and engaging with the world. Curiosity is the active mechanism that catches those winds. Without it, the opportunity just blows right past you.
Okay, let's look at Section 4, mapping your Riskometer.
Now that our boat is built, how do we actually pull the levers to steer this thing? Dr. Seelig introduces a super nuanced tool for this called the Riskometer. It maps out 6 calculated leaps you need to take to manifest a new life. A lot of folks think risk is completely binary. They say, oh, I'm just not a risk taker. But that's fundamentally incorrect. Risk is actually a dynamic chart, mapping the specific areas where you comfortably stretch and the areas where you subconsciously shrink.
Let's break down your personal risk profile across these 6 distinct areas. First, there's physical risk. Are you someone who loves skydiving, or are you just trying to get your kids' cycling habits down from a level 9 danger to a manageable level 5? Second is emotional risk, which is that terrifying vulnerability of sharing how you really feel. Third is social risk, like giving a toast at a wedding or speaking up in a high-stakes meeting. Fourth is financial risk, measuring how you stretch resources. Fifth is intellectual risk, tackling a problem you've literally never seen before. And finally, ethical risk, having the courage to walk away from a deal that just doesn't smell right. So ask yourself, in which of these 6 areas are you hiding, and where do you need to stretch? To highlight just how powerful stretching can be, take a look at this incredible number, $650. In a real-world Stanford study, Students were given a mere $5 and challenged to solve a new problem creatively. By leaning entirely into intellectual risk, they turned that $5 into $650 in just 2 hours. No joke. That is the physics of luck in action.
The crucial point here is that luck is a long game. It's exactly like investing money. Little deposits of risk and curiosity compound over time. You don't need to take massive, reckless gambles every single day. It's about consistent, calculated leaps. Every time you stretch one arm of your riskometer, every time you show curiosity, you're making a tiny deposit. And just like compound interest, those deposits inevitably explode into massive, life-altering opportunities.
This leads us to our final section, stirring the soup. We've talked about the theory, we've mapped the risks, but what do you actually do the exact second this explainer ends? You have to start stirring the soup of your life. Here are some immediate, concrete ways to do that today. Take a small intellectual risk. Apply for that job you secretly think you're underqualified for. Take a social risk. Introduce yourself to the stranger in the coffee line. Practice generosity. Send a sincere thank you note to someone who did a simple, 5-minute favor for you last week. These actions seem small, but they heavily agitate the environment around you. They create the necessary openings for luck to finally slip in.
Ultimately, it all comes down to one tiny leap of faith. You now possess the blueprint to build your sailboat. You know how to recruit your crew of generosity, and you know exactly how to map your riskometer to hoist your sail of curiosity. The winds of change are blowing right outside your door as we speak. So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative question to ponder today. What is the very first, tiny leap of faith you are going to take the moment this explainer ends to finally let luck find you? Go out there and start catching the wind.